Good morning students, welcome to class 4 EVS. Children, today we are going to read the remaining part of chapter 6, An Ideal House. We had started this chapter in the previous video itself and we had covered some of the topics also. Now we'll revise the same and then move forward to the remaining part of the chapter. Children, we had already studied about what is an ideal house. An ideal house. So here first we try to understand why do we need house. We need house to live. House is a place that satisfies your needs and offers all the comforts which you and your family needs. So this is the place where we come after the whole day exhaustion and tiredness to rest along with the family. So children, we need house to live. As we know, house is among one of our basic needs. We need house to live as it protects us from heat, rain, cold, dust and wild animals. So children, house is very important for us because it helps us or it protects us from heat, rain, cold, dust and wild animals. Children, in this chapter we had already studied about early man. In the beginning, early man moved from place to place in search of food, but later on they also realized that there should be a shelter which will protect them from different wild animals as well as from nature's fury. What is this nature's fury? Nature's fury means natural disaster. All the calamities which occur naturally are called natural disaster. These calamities can be heavy rain, storm, cyclone, earthquake, drought, flood, etc. So children, when these early men came to know that an house is a very important thing, they also need house to protect themselves and their family. They started building house with the material which were available that time. So all those things which they could get easily around them. So they took wood, leaves, etc. to build a safe shelter. Before that, they lived in a cave. Here we can see a cave where a early man is sitting. So now they started building house with the materials which were available to them. But was his house an ideal house? What are the special features of an ideal house? So let us read here what are the main features of an ideal house. So let us read our next topic, that is features of an ideal house. Now starting with the first one, the features of an ideal house can be grouped into 4 main headings. That is, first one is ventilation. Ventilation is very important topic which is very for an ideal house as we know. When we enter a room or a classroom or in our house, first we try to make the room airy, so that we open all the windows and doors so that we get enough air to feel comfortable. So here ventilation is something where there is free flow of air into the house or the room. So ventilation means the availability of fresh air in a room or building. That is very important. In order to have proper ventilation in a room, we need enough number of doors and windows. So when we build a house, we try to have enough number of doors and windows. The doors and window should face each other to allow the free flow of the air. This free flow of air is called ventilation. So there should be doors and windows which face each other to allow the free flow of air in the house, because of when the doors and windows are arranged in such a way that they face each other, then there is proper flow of air into the room and out of the room. So it is very important for a room to keep airy and fresh. The windows and doors should be arranged in such a way that they face each other, means they should be arranged on the opposite side of the walls. Now children, so it should have plenty of doors and windows to let fresh air in and stale air. Green plants, and green plants are very important in keeping the air fresh around us. So green plants planted around the house and potted plants kept into the house, inside the house, also help in keeping the air clean. Now children, nowadays we are having such a type of houses or buildings that we need to have exhaust fans and chimneys also. So the kitchen should have a chimney to let the smoke out of the kitchen or the house, and also we should have exhaust in the rooms so that the odor or the pollution is thrown out of the room or removed out of the room. So children, we have discussed in the previous chapter also, and here also we are discussing the same, how ventilation is very difficult for a ideal house. So children, we'll revise once again. Ventilation is the provision of air in So ventilation is the availability of free air in the room or building, or free flow of the air into the house or a room. So children, the windows and doors should face each other to allow the free flow of the air into the house. They also ensure that the stale air is removed from the house. So these number of doors and windows help our room keep fresh and pollution free. Now green plants planted around the house and the potted plants kept into the house helps in keeping the air clean and fresh. Now children, our next topic for the revision is sunlight. So it is another important issue for keeping the room fresh and germ free. So here we are going to read about sunlight. Sunlight makes the house bright and also kills the germs. Hence, disinfecting the house. Germs cause diseases and make us well. A number of windows and an open courtyard make sure that plenty of sunlight comes into the house. Sunlight is also rich source of vitamin D. So it helps our body produce sunlight. So sunlight brightens our home and keeps the rooms dry and keep the germ away. There should be sufficient windows and doors for the sunlight to enter the house. So I hope children you have understood how important proper ventilation and sunlight is for an ideal house. Now today we are going to read our next topic, that is sanitation. Drainage and disposal of sewage and waste water from the kitchen and toilets is called sanitation. Children, as there is a proverb that so cleanliness is next to godliness. As we know, cleanliness is the way to godliness, or cleanliness is next to godliness. Means maintaining cleanliness and thinking good brings a person more near to the God. So children, if you keep your house clean, even God will be close to you. And हिंदी में हम कहते हैं कि अगर हमारा घर साफ होता है तो हमारे घर में भगवान का वास होता है। उसी तरह हमें अपना घर और आसपास साफ रखना है। So children, cleanliness play very important role in our life, because we can keep healthy only if our house, our body as well as the surrounding is kept clean. So we should make cleanliness as our habit, because once we do something good it becomes our habit. So we should include all the good habits in our habit. This will be good for us also and for our family too. So children, if our surrounding and house is kept clean and neat, we always feel fresh and healthy. It is necessary that we keep ourselves and our house clean. Drainage and disposal of sewage and wastewater from the kitchen and toilet is called sanitation. We should throw garbage in proper dustbin which are covered. So whenever you dispose the garbage, you throw the garbage, you should be alert that the place is the container in which you are throwing the garbage is proper and it has a proper cover, so that these flies and other insects do not sit on it and contaminate your food. They first sit on it and then they come into your house and may sit on your food also. And also the house should be cleaned every day, and we should also ensure that garbage is not thrown out in the open. As I told you, throwing garbage in open leads to various kinds of diseases. So it is not a good habit to keep throw the garbage in the open. So we should always be careful while disposing the garbage. Sanitation. An ideal house should have proper drainage system to remove the dirty water. So children, whenever we build a house, we take care of few things which is very important for an ideal house. For example, when we build a house, we should have the house should have proper drainage system to remove the dirty water, as well as the drains should be properly covered and cleaned regularly to prevent the germination of germs, cockroaches, mosquitoes, etc., because these leads to various diseases which may cause malaria, dengue and cholera. So children, if you don't keep the drainage covered, or if you don't clean the drainage around your house regularly, these will lead to the germination of germs and various insects which may cause different types of diseases such as malaria, dengue, cholera. The dustbin should have a lid and must be cleaned every day. Even the dustbin should have a lid. The dustbin which you have in your house, that should have a lid and it should be covered. And also we should be careful about the water, storage of water, the place where you keep water, the container or the vessel in which you store the water should be cleaned and covered, and there should be enough supply of water to keep the house as well as surrounding clean. As we know, if we don't get enough supply of water, we will not be able to clean our body, our clothes or all other cleaning work properly. So enough water supply is also very important. Then children, there should be enough. Now as I told you while explaining ventilation, once again I'll tell you, doors and windows play vital role in our house, very important role in our house. An ideal house should have at least double door system. For example, one common wooden door and the other wire mesh door, which helps you get fresh air as well as your house is kept away from flies, mosquitoes and other insects. So your house should also have enough number of windows as well as double door system, so that you are safe from insects and germs and even get fresh air. Now open space is very important for a house. For example, if you have the house should not be so clustered that we cannot move around freely. There should be enough space that we can clean it often. Too many things should not be kept together and they should be dust free. So children, the house should have enough open space because it allows in the circulation of blood into and out of the house. So you get enough air, uh, enough fresh air, and you get, if you have lot of space around your house, you can come out of your house and feel the freshness of the nature and also openness of the nature, and you can breathe in the open air. So having an open place around the house is very important. Your children can play outside and you can do yoga or some exercise out of your house. There's no need of walking long distances. You can do all these things in your house itself, and you get space for planting trees, which is very important. And also the things should not be kept in cluster, means the things which you have in your house or around keep around your house, out of your house, should not be kept so close, because when you keep the things too close to each other, it is very difficult for us to clean every day. So they should be kept with by keeping some distance between them, and it should be cleaned regularly. So in another way we can say that we should develop the habit of cleanliness in ourselves. Our life should be developed in such a way that we learn how to keep things clean, neat and clean around us. So here we can also say there are few points, children, which is not mentioned here, but we should know. The door should have proper curtains, and the door should have proper lock, and the house should have a fencing or a wall to keep us secure, safe from wild animals or the strangers. The door should have a spy eye, which to ensure that the door is not opened to the strangers. And if the doors have proper locks and bolts, we can lock it and keep ourselves safe from the strangers. And also the curtains on the door and windows does not allow extra lights or the dust to enter the house. Sometimes we uh, like to have privacy in our house. Those doors and windows, the curtains on the doors and window provide us privacy. So we should have some doors and windows, curtains on the doors and windows. And bolt and locks are also important, as they provide us safety from the strangers, as well as spy eyes also play very important role in opening the door before ensuring that whoever is standing at the door is not a stranger or somebody else. Now, there should be a proper space for escape at the time of fire and natural calamities. So children, just now I told you there should be an open space. So what happens, children, sometimes if you have such any natural calamities, if you have proper space, for example in case of earthquake, if you don't have open space, it will be very difficult for you at the time of earthquakes to come out of your house searching for a, it will be difficult for you to search for a open space. So all these things are very important, which we discussed just now in the chapter. So we should be very alert, or we should be very careful while building a house or hiring a house on rent. So these are the things which should be taken care of while building or hiring a house. So children, once again we will revise the chapter from the beginning. Children, as we know, house is very important for us to live. Children, house protect us from rain, cold, dust and wild animals. House is a place where we feel most comfortable and relaxed. There are few points which has to be taken care of while having a ideal while building a house, so that our house becomes an ideal house. So the features of an ideal house are, the features of an ideal house can be grouped into 4 main headings, that is ventilation, sunlight and air, sanitation, open space. As we studied in the chapter, ventilation, having proper ventilation in a house is very important, because the availability of fresh air in the room or building is very important to lead a comfortable life. That is why we need to have enough number of doors and windows in our house, which should face each other to allow the free flow of air. This free flow of air into the house is called ventilation. Then it also allows, these doors and windows also allow the outlet of dirty air, the house, which is very necessary for our good health. In ideal house, we should also have exhaust fans and chimneys. Children, our house should have, or our kitchen should have chimneys, so that the smoke is let out of the house. It should also have exhaust fans for the odor or pollution to be removed out of the house. Then children, sunlight and air is also very important. Sunlight plays very important role in keeping the house brightened, our homes also gets dried, or we can keep our house dry with the help of sunlight. Then it also kills the germs. There should be sufficient windows and doors for the air and sunlight to enter the house. So once again, door and windows plays very important role in keeping the house brightened and germ free. So doors and windows allow sufficient amount of sunlight to enter the house and keep the house lightened. Now next topic is sanitation. Sanitation is another important topic which is related to our health and hygiene. If our house is cleaned regularly and it is kept clean, and there is proper drainage system to remove the dirty water out, we are able to keep our house germ free and free from some of the insects which may cause diseases like mosquitoes, diseases like malaria, dengue, cholera. So the dustbin in the house should have lid and must be cleaned every day. Now children, the house should have double door system. Double door system helps in keeping the flies or insects away from the house, and also it allows the fresh air to enter the house. Now children, then the last topic is open space. Open space is very important. When we build a house, we should be careful. There should be some space left around our house, so that whenever we want to come out of the house, we want to feel fresh, we can come out of the house, we can plant some trees or keep some potted plants in the house, and also our children can play in that area, as well as we can do some exercises or yoga. So children, open space play vital role, a very important role in our life. So open space, and the things which we keep in our house should be kept apart from each other by keeping some distance between the things, so that we can clean those things or areas regularly. Those things should be dust free, because if we keep our house as surrounding clean, directly or indirectly, we are keeping ourselves and our family healthy. So cleanliness is very important. Now here we have one exercise or the activity 2. In the activity here we are going to read about do's or don'ts. So we must follow. So do's. Before doing this, we will read the question. The question is, we must follow certain do's and don'ts to make a house an ideal house, and add to those given below. So here some do's and don'ts are given in the picture. Firstly, we'll go through the do's, what we should do. Do's means what all we should do to make our house an ideal house. So here we have do's. Sweep and mop house regularly. We should sweep and mop our house regularly. Remove all cobwebs. We should remove all the cobwebs. Keep the garbage in covered dustbin. The garbage should be kept covered in the dustbin. Then we should also drinking water must be kept in a clean vessel and should have a lid over it, or the drinking water should be kept covered and the vessel in which water is kept should be cleaned regularly. Our third point is the vessel which we are using to keep the water should be cleaned regularly and it should be covered properly. Then this is fourth point. Now, fifth one. Fifth, there should be wall or fence all around the house to keep animals and strangers out. So, children, in a house we don't only not only require the facilities, but also we should have security in our house. In order to have security, we should have walls and fence around the house. Now, next point is we should keep the house as well as surrounding clean by cleaning all the articles or the furnitures in our house. We should wipe the doors and furniture with disinfectants. So these are the points which has to be taken care of. These all are the points which has to be taken care of. We should do the points are sweep and mop house regularly, remove all the cobwebs, keep the garbage covered in covered dustbin. Drinking water should be kept covered and the vessel should be cleaned regularly. There should be a wall or fencing to keep the animals or the strangers away. We should we should clean the doors or sofa or other furnitures with disinfectants. Then now we'll do some don'ts. What we should not do. Do not keep water uncovered anywhere in the house. So as we studied what we do in that also we studied, wherever we keep the water it should be covered and the vessel which is used to store the water should be cleaned regularly. So we should not keep water uncovered anywhere in the house. Do not throw garbage on the road. We also discussed in the chapter it is dangerous to keep the garbage or throw the garbage in the open. So we should not throw the garbage in open. So do not throw garbage on the road. Get the drain cleaned regularly. As we discussed, the drain should be regularly cleaned so that the germs or the mosquitoes or flies and other insects do not germinate. Now, next is do not keep the doors open, because if you keep the doors in the evening, if you keep the doors open in the evening, the mosquitoes or other mosquitoes will come inside and they may cause malaria. Do not keep things too close to each other, because it is very difficult to clean those things, as these things should be regularly cleaned. The dust from those things should be regularly removed. Don't waste water or electricity. Children, as we know, water and electricity are the resources which has to be saved. At the time of difficulty, we face lot of problems when we don't get enough water and electricity. So these things should be saved for the later use. So these should be used carefully. So these are the things which we should not do. Now with this we have ended the chapter. In our next video we will be doing keywords. We'll be discussing keywords and things to remember. Thank you, children.